Well, it says thank you, Joran, but I think I'm going to start off with saying thank you, everybody. This is a bittersweet time. It's been a long run, and I will miss the excitement. But we have work to do. So, thank you, Joran, Your Excellencies, Mr. Hamad Obaid Al-Mansouri. Also like to welcome the Minister of Telecom of Yemen, ministers, ambassadors, ICANN community members, colleagues from other internet organizations, ladies and gentlemen, welcome all of you to ICANN60. It is wonderful, indeed wonderful, to be in Abu Dhabi. It's well known that this emirate hosts the Formula One Grand Prix, an annual event defined by breathtaking cars, adrenaline rushes, and screeching tires. Kind of makes you wonder why they invited us. Those are not exactly the qualities that define an ICANN meeting. We do hear screeching, of course. It doesn't come from the tires. So it'll be my 19th time I've welcomed you to an ICANN meeting, and as I've already noted, it will be my last. By now, you know that Shireen Shalaby will succeed me as chair and will be welcoming you to the next meeting, ICANN61 in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Shireen and I have been working very closely together in a symbiotic relationship. He has been teaching me Arabic, and I have been teaching him to count in binary. Progress is slow. Nonetheless, we make a good team, talk often about where ICANN is now and where it should be going in the future. My greatest source of pride when it comes to this organization is quite simply that it works. Furthermore, it works better and more inclusively than many ever thought possible. The security, stability, and resiliency of the domain name system is in good hands. In the early days, it was called the ICANN experiment. We don't hear that anymore because the experiment has proven successful. But ICANN's growth has made me reflect on several key points. I learned a very important lesson very early on, that there must always be a thoughtful balance between process and a focus on mission. As ICANN continues to grow, so do our processes. Joran already made reference to documenting all of our processes. It is a wonder to behold. But I occasionally become concerned that at times the processes may impede rather than facilitate our ability to get the job done. So processes should be developed based on need, not on the expectation that they may be needed, and our focal point should be the work needed to be completed. And implicit in all of this is it's always time to re-examine whether our processes are in fact working effectively for us. With the IANA stewardship transition behind us, the new empowered community is quickly finding its footing. That's what it's written here. I don't know how quickly it's actually finding its footing. There are a lot of details that need to be worked out, and the positive news is that everybody is working their way through the pieces of these. Both the board and the organization are embracing their roles in supporting the community and planning for the future. I am, however, not without some concerns. Much has been written of late about the growing distrust of institutions of all types, be they government, business, or even religious. Too often that distrust is rooted in a perceived lack of transparency and accountability. ICANN's commitment to those qualities cannot be overstated. They are and should remain a critical part of our DNA. What we do and how we are defined will always be framed by how well we adhere to transparency and accountability. Some years back, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis said, "Sunlight is the best disinfectant." But it is far more than that, for that light of transparency will illuminate our path forward. And as we go down that path, we should also feel pride in the accomplishments of our recent past. The new GTLD program in general is one of such success, as is the growing proliferation of internationalized domain names. IDNs have become a welcome mat to an online world from which many have felt excluded simply by nature of their language. Another accomplishment, which I feel very good about, is the growing adoption of the Domain Name System Security Extension, otherwise known as DNSSEC. In this day of increasing online threats, I feel very positive about the security and resilience of the DNS. As most here know, earlier this month we had planned to change the cryptographic keys that help protect the DNS. Those plans were postponed when the Office of the Chief Technology Officer got new data indicating that too many internet service providers and network operators were simply not yet ready for the key change, or roll, as we call it. Rather than risk having a large number of internet users lose connectivity with DNS, the decision was made to postpone the key change until the new information could be fully evaluated. Almost immediately, we explained to the world why we were postponing the roll, and with very few exceptions, almost everyone supported our go slow and get it right approach. Again, transparency paid off, as did our growing depth and focus on technical issues. At the end of the day, ICANN is indeed a technical coordination body, something that was too often lost on politicians and government officials a couple of years ago as they debated the wisdom of the IANA stewardship transition. Our technical mandate is more than important. It is central reason for our very existence and needs to be front and center as we look to the future. In the early days, we used to say, networks bring people together, and by extension, so does ICANN, witness that we're all here. I'm proud of our diversity and the inclusion that so often defines an ICANN meeting. It is my hope that as various constituencies select their representative board members, they do so carefully and with great deliberation. Diversity should always be a factor in their decision-making. The board members should reflect the careful, respectful, and reasoned thinking that frames the community constituencies. Even though our mission is largely technical, we are human beings who carry within ourselves an innate desire to be heard and to be treated with respect and kindness. You've heard before my recurring theme of encouraging empathy and compassion. Those are not qualities you will find mentioned in our mission, but they are qualities that will help us fulfill our mission. Please know that as I leave the ICANN board, I do so with gratitude and with pride, not pride in what I have done, but pride in what we have all done together. We have validated the ICANN model and changed the way the world views us. Whatever I may have contributed to this organization pales by comparison to your contributions. Your tireless efforts leave me humbled and leave me honored. And for that, all I can say is thank you.